months to the day that two young boys from California City were reported missing, and the search for them continues. 4-year-old Orson and Orin West were reported missing December 21st. That is 212 days ago, and police have yet to find them. Bakersfield police are in charge of this investigation. If you have information that could lead investigators to these young boys, you are urged to contact the Secret Witness Hotline, where you can remain anonymous. That phone number, once again, 661-322-4040.
Hi everybody, it's your girl Tiffany, aka Madam Malicious Black Beauty, your poetic psychic Pisces, High Priestess, aka Diamond. As you can see, I am here for another one of my videos. Unfortunately, this is going to be another missing persons video. This is going to be for actually two individuals who went missing. They're actually brothers. They went missing at the same time together. So I'm going to be doing a spirit reading for them. As you all can see, I already have everything for the reading in place and everything. So we are going to get right into this reading. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so let me start off with the basics of this story. These young men, or little boys, they have been missing since December 21st, 2020. So right before Christmas, about 4 days before Christmas, these little boys went missing. They're being called the Cal City Boys because they reside in California City, California, thus where the Cal City Boys has come from. They have two adoptive parents, Jacqueline West and Trezelle West. These are, if you all can see that, I'm using different devices tonight, so y'all excuse me. These are the adoptive parents here. This is Trezelle, and this is Jacqueline West, okay? So the two boys that are missing is Orson, which was 3 when he went missing, and Orin, which was 4 when he went missing. Their names were changed after they were adopted to Orson and Orin West. As I said, they were ages 3 and 4 when they went missing. However, I think one has a birthday, either just had a birthday or has a birthday this month. So the 4-year-old, I believe, is getting ready to turn 5. They are both African American males. Orin is African American. He was 4 years old when he was abducted. He's male. He has black hair. He's 3 foot tall, and he weighs 35 pounds. His date of birth is August 4th. So yeah, his birthday is coming up. Orson is African American. He was 3 years old at the time of his abduction. He is male. He has black hair. He weighs also, he's also 3 foot in height. And he also is claimed to weigh 35 pounds. I'm not sure how they're different in age, yet they're the same height and weigh the same. Although they are, like, I guess, like a year and something difference. So this is what we're going to be discussing tonight. These boys have been missing for what, 7 months now? And there hasn't been really any leads, any evidence, anything really pertaining to these young men. And so in this, I found myself doing more and more of these missing persons because many of you whom have been on my channel before, you know that I am a targeted individual, and I find it very hard to believe that there is such technology out here that these powers that be, you know, they kind of brag and boast about like all the time. Yet these children vanish and go missing, and they don't have a clue. They don't have a lead. Everybody play pretend like they just haven't any idea about anything. They don't know nothing. They haven't heard anything. They haven't seen anything or anything. And, you know, anybody who would research targeted individuals, you can find all kind of information on the illegal use of technology that is being used by these satanic powers that be, to illegally invade and violate the mind, body, and soul of American citizens. And the fact of the matter is, this isn't just an American issue. This is being done as a war weapon, as a war tactic on human beings, period, all over the world. It does not get talked about enough. And those of us who are targeted individuals, only those other people in the community of us, kind of know what is going on and what is happening and everything, and everybody else seemingly kind of disregard the entire thing altogether. But I have found it, I don't know, I've just been pushed forward. I'm led by spirit, so I've been pushed forward to do these readings for these missing children, to to shed some kind of light on what happened to them, as well as to expose the fact that to expose the fact that these are not random occurrences. You would have to be pretty stupid to think that we are just, that these are just whacked out crazy people. These are random events, and, this just kind of randomly goes on from time to time. No, a lot of this has been staged. A lot of this has been planned and plotted. Many people are unaware that many people are sold out. They are sellouts to these satanic powers that be, to this beast system in which we live under. And these people are making sacrifices on a daily basis. They are sacrificing their children, and other loved ones, for financial gain, for positions, for titles, for roles, for whatever the incentives are that they are getting from doing so. And this happens amongst everyday average Joe citizens, all the way up to high profile, rich, powerful, elite individuals. Okay, so even those who seemingly are in the know, somewhat of blood sacrificing and things that are going on, they kind of assume, oh, this kind of thing only takes place amongst celebrities, takes place amongst people in power, people in government, people in the occult, and all kinds of things. But the fact of the matter is it's these very satanic powers that be. It's that very occult that runs, through, and controls this entire world, and they have a little bit of everybody in their pocket. To be quite frank, people are being triggered. If you notice this pattern of events, more and more every day, we are hearing of heinous crimes that are being committed against children. And I mean, here recently, there was a lady who was the aunt and had her nephew and her niece in the trunk. One that had been dead for a few months and one that had been dead for a year. She had them in the trunk. Okay, you had a lady not too long ago. She actually worked for the Department of Human Service, which is like Child Protective Services, depending on where you are, what they call it. She drowned two of her children. So we're talking about average Joe nobodies to professional business people to people of all different walks of life. These people are under mind control, people. Y'all need to know that mind control is very real. These people have become targets, and they are being triggered. Their mind has been invaded, and the United States government has the power, has the technology to invade and violate anybody's mind or body or internal organs that they want to. And they can trigger these people to commit some horrific crimes. And this is the reason why 9 times out of 10, when they're apprehended and you see their mugshots, they're totally spaced out, they're totally zoned out, is because another force is controlling their mind. I mean, to each is his own. Everybody is their own person as to what you believe in, but I mean, but you would be completely naive and ignorant not to open your eyes and realize what is happening around you. Because these things are taking place every single day. I have said before, there are 800,000 children alone, not to even count the teenagers or the adults that go missing. There are 800,000 children that go missing every single year. There's no protest, there's no riots, there's no anger, there's no upset. No, everybody is running around thinking they're living their best life. Why? And you just, as you tell me, how do 800,000 children go missing, yet nobody seems to know where they're at? They have come out with RFID chips. They have come out with brain chips. They have come out with, they use all sorts of artificial intelligence technology. They have robots that's predicting the future for them and talking to them and communicating with them and all kinds of things. They use remote neuromonitoring, neurolinguistic programming, electromagnetic frequencies and pulses using directed energy weapons to beam them at people's heads. I mean, there is a long list of about a million different ways that the American people are under attack, and nobody seems to be getting it that this has been set up. This has been planned. This has been staged by none other than those who are high up in power, these shadow beings that is running and controlling this world. Um, this is how you can have just average Joe people to very prominent people to business oriented people whom seemingly they make it seem like they just snapped one day and and have committed some type of horrific crime, and it's always resulting around children or mass murders or something, even the complete annihilation of their entire families, and nobody is questioning these things. And maybe nobody's questioning these things because everybody is blind in thinking that you're living your best life and life is just everything wonderful and great and beautiful. But was it wonderful and great and beautiful for these babies, for these children who are gone missing, who are never to be seen or heard from ever again? And not anybody with any lick of sense look up the statistics and say, how does this many people go missing every year? Where are they being hid at? Okay, but those of us in the know, we know that there is clearly a whole underground operation right beneath our feet. Um, from the sex trade to organ harvesting to some of any drug trafficking, some of any and everything that you could possibly think of going on underground, and they make billions of trillions of dollars off these operations. It's past time to wake up, people. People need to start rising up because these things are taking place every single day. There's a lot of witchcraft, sorcery, and black magic that is going on. There are demonically possessed individuals all around us. Very dark matter, negative energy, and spirits that just consumes our entire world, and nobody's paying attention to it. Nobody cares. But the problem is you got a large group of people who are just brainwashed, dumbed down, and blind. You got another group of people who are afraid of these powers that be, and they're comfortable with their lives, so they figure if they go along to get along, then they will be all right. And then you have the group of individuals who are sellouts, who are sold out to these satanic powers that be, who are down for the six, and who are down for sacrifice and everything else to usher in this new world order. And then you have those whom are like me, who are targeted individuals who are doing everything in our power, as long as we have breath in our body, to expose what is actually happening before you or your child or your family is next. Nevertheless, everybody, this reading is about Orin and Orson West, 3-year-old, 4-year-old boy who went missing from California City, California. I have done a spirit reading for them. If I am led to pull cards, I will do so. It's absolutely ridiculous that these babies have been missing this length of time. I'm going to say one more thing before I start this reading also. If you go you can go to any narcotics unit, and they can tell you who all the drug dealers are, who the white men are, who the traffickers are, where the trap houses are, who's selling the most drugs, who's making the most money. You can go to the robbery division, and they could tell you who are petty thieves, who are heisters, who are bank robbers, who are commit fraud on various different levels. You can go to the sex crime unit, and they can tell you who's on probation, who's on parole, who's all the sex offenders, and in every area, and all kinds of things. Not to mention, you have not only NASA, but your scientists and doctors and all kinds of people in power that are involved in technology in the tech world that tells you all about this new and upcoming technology that they have, and they are about 30 years ahead of the of human beings right now to this day. So they have access and are using technology that you all have never even heard of, let alone seen. But even with the technology that you know of right now, ask yourself, how are they able to invade and violate the privacy of every citizen, collecting the data of every citizen? They can hack into our computers, our laptops, our TVs, any of your electronic devices, your car, your phone, your microwave, any of your electronic devices, especially those of you that think you're so cool with all of your smart this and your smart that, your smart cars and your smart watches and your smartphones and your smart everything. All of that is nothing but spyware. They are listening to every word you say. They are watching everything you do, and they are collecting all of your data and putting it in a huge database, probably somewhere off at CERN or something. Okay, so ask yourself, how do they have all this technology, yet they are not able to stop terrorism before it happened? Why do we know that? Because they keep telling us that there are terroristic acts amongst the United States of America. They are the domestic terrorists. They are creating these terroristic events. Why is it that children come up missing on a daily basis? If 800,000 children come up missing every 365 days every year, essentially, you mean to tell me did none of your technology picked up on this? I mean, they have technology to determine pre-crime, which means they have ways to predict things and create and manipulate things before they happen. Yet ask yourself, with all of the power that they have, with all the technology that they have, why is there still a problem with human trafficking, with sex trafficking, with drug trafficking, with organ harvesting? They have no intentions whatsoever to shut down the operations of these things. And I'm going to say one more thing. Anytime there's a major case that goes down, no matter what it is centered around, when the detectives and the FBI and the police and everybody that they claim is working on the case, number one red flag sign that the powers that be have something to do with it. First of all, you'll see the signs in the symbolisms. If you've got an eye to see, their signs and symbolisms is going to be their downfall, because the numerology will come up. So you'll see certain sequences of numbers, certain sequences of colors, certain signs, certain symbolisms, certain hand signs and trigger words and statements and things being used. Those are clear signs. But also, when these people tell you that they have some of the most profound individuals on the case, like your FBI and your top representatives in government working on a case, yet they don't have no lead, no evidence, no suspects, no nothing, and the case just end up going cold, and they act like they don't have not a clue. It's a clear sign that they have been told to stand down. It's a clear sign, especially when it's the disappearance of children. If you notice that they come up with no evidence and these kids just say missing, they vanish into thin air, they're never seen or heard from ever again, and you're from your local police departments to your FBI, your CIA, whoever gets involved, they don't have a clue. Red flag sign number one. 9 times out of 10, that child was trafficked, was taken for whatever purposes, for whatever reasons, but for somebody who is an elite, somebody who is high up in power, has set this up. And you end up seeing many different players whom are involved because, like I said, so when you see people's children come up dead or people's children come up missing, 9 times out of 10, the parents of those children are sold out to these satanic powers that be and offered up their children as a sacrifice, maybe for some kind of incentive or reward, some type of position, title, or role, a large sum of money, various different things. People need to pay attention to this, okay? Because these things are happening and they're going on every single day, and people just walking around kind of acting blurred, like they haven't a clue. Okay, so let's get this reading going. I asked Spirit a series of questions. Okay, I have a total of 22 questions that I asked about these boys who went missing, Orin and Orson West. Okay, and this was just, it was very sad. First things first, when just looking at the case, I felt like something was just like really wrong. These supposed adopted parents look younger than me. I'm 37 years old. They literally look like they're in their late 20s, maybe 30. And these people, with those two boys, they have a total of 6 kids. They still have 4 children who is in protective custody right now, allegedly. But when the other 2 kids that went missing were there, they had a total of 6 kids, and these people look younger than me. Okay? I'm not sure how California City is with their adoption process, because then after I heard that they were adopted, I'm like, okay, these people look kind of young. They've got, I'm like, what in the hell type of work do they do to even be able to take care of 6 children? I thought at first it was just these 2 boys that they had, but then when I had found out they had 4 other children, they have a total of 6 children, and I kid you not, these people look younger than myself. They are an interracial couple, which, doesn't have anything to do with anything. But look at these people. Can y'all see that? These people look so young. Okay? So something was very wrong. So then I began to look and to search. I said, well, maybe they have a family friend or something that wasn't doing too well, that needed some help, and they decided to, take care of their kids for them or something. No, this was a legal adoption through California City, California. Okay? So there is documentation and paperwork legally for them to adopt these children. I have never seen a couple so young to adopt children, 2 children, when they already have 4 other kids, okay? And I'm like, it's hard enough to take care of 1 kid, even 2. But when you got 6, I'm like, what kind of work are they doing? Because they would be having to bring in a substantial amount of money. Now, I assume that they're getting money in from the government because, they adopted these kids or whatever. But it seemed off to me, just off top, when I seen them and they were talking. I'm like, something is wrong with this situation. But from that, I clearly know that they have ties with, the government to a certain degree, just because of this adoption process. So I prayed, I meditated, I called upon my spirit guides, my angels, and the Most High to give me clear and accurate messages. And so some of the questions I asked, I got direct messages for. Others, I needed a more detailed answer. And so this is what I asked for. I've explained to you all how I do these spirit readings before. As I said, I look over the case. If I have certain visions about it, I'll write my visions down first. And then I write a sequence of questions down. I proceed to write down all the possibilities of answers for each question. Or either if it's just a question and I just need a direct answer of yes or no, I'll ask Spirit for that. I put all the answers in the bowl, I shake the bowl, I pray, I meditate, I ask Spirit, and the messages pop out on their own. And that's the message that I'll accept from Spirit, unless it's a conflicting message, and I'll have to keep asking Spirit, for clarification. On some of these things, when I get a specific answer, it can be more than one answer, more than one thing tied into the various different questions. So we're going to start off with number one. And as you can see here, these are all the questions that I wrote down and I asked Spirit. Not sure if y'all can see that, but I'm going to read them to you all, and I'm going to show you all the answers. Number one, what happened to the Cow City boys? First answer I got, they were kidnapped by a stranger. I got a second answer for what happened to the Cow City boys. It says that they were killed/murdered. Question number two, what are the adoptive parents hiding? The adoptive parents are hiding the fact that they are sellouts to these satanic powers that be. The next answer that came out for what they're hiding, the adoptive parents are hiding, I have here the real reason the boys are gone. So these adoptive parents know exactly. They know why these boys are no longer there. They know why they were taken. They know why they are missing, and essentially that means they know whom they're with. Okay, number three was a direct answer. I asked, do the biological parents have anything to do with what happened? And by meaning anything to do with what happened, and I asked Spirit, was this a direct involvement or indirectly involved? I believe I got a direct answer of yes. I believe the biological mother knows more than what she is saying. I believe that she's aware of what happened to her sons, which they were adopted supposedly by these other people, so they were in fact theirs now. But the biological mother and I'm specifically picking up the biological mother, I feel like she is aware of what was going to take place, of what was going on, and she may have received some type of compensation or something for going along with the whole setup, the process of what happened to these boys, okay? But she is aware of what happened to them, okay? Number four, where are the Cow City boys? Okay, the first answer I got on where are the Cow City boys, I have, oh goodness, I have buried. Just a minute, guys. I have buried. The next answer that fell, you guys, that's why I had to take a minute to pick it up. I have buried on the first answer. The second answer I got for where are the Cow City boys, I have discarded. So when I get discarded, that kind of means that they were discarded, that they were disposed of in some kind of way, that they were gotten rid of in some kind of way. And with the first answer of buried, I believe, I believe that they have been buried somewhere. And that's the reason that discarded came out, because they have been disposed of in some kind of way. Okay? Number five, what is the condition of the boys? The first answer that I got is that they were beat. Let me turn this around. Those boys were beat. They were beat up in some kind of way by their captors, by their abductors. The next answer I got is that they had been drowned. So the boys were beaten some kind of way. They were drowned somewhere. And the final answer I got for what is the condition of the boys? They are dead. Okay. I have the next sequence of questions are direct answers, so I'm just going to go through them. Number 6, I asked, were the Cal City boys kidnapped? I got a direct answer of yes. Do the adoptive parents have anything to do with the disappearance of the 2 boys? I got a direct answer of yes. Are any persons in power, leadership, elite involved in any way with the disappearance of the boys? I got a direct answer of yes. Are the neighbors involved with the disappearance of the boys? I got some conflicting answers on that, and I had to keep asking Spirit. I had to keep praying, meditating on it, because it went back and forth. I got yes a couple of times, and I got no a couple of times, but essentially, after I did some other clarifying, I actually had to ask some other questions around this to see what I got, and then come back to it, and then ultimately I picked up no, because with the other information that I got of other individuals involved. So this is how I essentially came up with the answer that no, there aren't any neighbors around who are involved with the disappearance of the boys. Number 10, were the city boys kidnapped for a sex trafficking ring? I got a direct answer of yes. So they were trafficked, and they were specifically trafficked to be taken advantage of in that way. I believe after it was set up for that they were going to be taken, that they were going to be trafficked, maybe the people on the front end of like the adoptive parents may not have known what all was going to be done to them after the initial setup of them going along with the fact that they were going to be abducted. So the adoptive parents were involved up to that point. I cannot specify that they knew exactly what would be done to the boys. Like they were specifically involved with basically selling them out, with basically sacrificing them for some type of gain, but they did not know exactly what would be done to them, what would come of them once they were taken and once they were gone. At least I didn't pick up that they knew about it as far as what would happen to them thereafter. Number 11, were the Cal City boys sold for organs? I got a direct answer of no. Hold on just a minute, guys. I gotta plug this up before we get cut off, because I might have to do this all over. Just give me just a second, please, because I don't want us to get disconnected. I should have did this before I started. Okay, we should be good to be able to continue now. Okay. So number 11, were the Cal City boys sold for their organs? I got a direct answer of no on that. I hope you all can still see pretty good. I had to turn off that other light. Hopefully that's not too big of a deal. Okay. So number 12, was the Cal City boys used for a sacrifice / blood ritual? No. I got a direct answer of no. They were not specifically taken to be, even though they were ultimately killed, they were used and they were abused before they was killed, if that makes sense. but they were not. Some people who are taken, who are abducted, are specifically killed for their organs, or some people who go missing, they was harmed in some type of way. They was killed like right away, as some type of sacrificial ritual that was done with them or with their body. These boys were kidnapped. These boys were taken. They were used. They were abused in the ways that the abductors wanted to use them. But they were not specifically used for some type of blood ritual. Okay, I hope that clarified that well enough. Number 13, were the Cal City boys being abused slash neglected? I got a direct answer of yes. And on that, I had to clarify down here, because when I asked Spirit, were the boys being abused slash neglected, I wasn't necessarily picking up that it was coming from the adoptive parents. I believe the abuse slash neglect, I believe, came from after they were abducted, but essentially they were neglected by their adoptive parents to even go along with what happened to them. So that still would be classified as abuse and neglect. But I did get a direct answer from Spirit of yes, that those boys were being abused and neglected. Number 14, were the Cal City boys abducted by a local sex offender? I got a direct answer of no. So none of the sex offenders who are in their in or around their neighborhood or their area, or live close by, was a part of the abduction of these boys. However, I do know that the individuals that took them did use them in that way, but this person was not a local sex offender. So it doesn't mean this person that took them was not a sex offender, but it means that this was not a sex offender that resided in California City where they resided. So I got a direct answer of no on that. Number 15. Were more than one persons involved in the kidnapping of the Cal City boys? And this is something that didn't sit right with me either, because it's very hard to traffic more than one child at a time. I mean, like, if you're running some type of trafficking ring and you go here and there and other, and you pick up one child at a time and you just load them up and you take a bunch, wherever like that, but to take two or more children at one time, you would think, okay, there has to be multiple people involved. How do you grab up two kids and hurry up and get away? I don't feel like this person had to rush, considering the fact that that the adoptive parents were well aware of what was going to take place, of what was going to go on. This was set up to happen specifically on a specific day around a specific time. And I don't feel like that it had to be rushed. Like, say if an abductor was going to snatch somebody, say, off the street, they will be sneakily trying to find the best opportunity to grab somebody quick and run off real quick, or pull up next to somebody in their vehicle, grab them, throw them in, take off or something. I don't feel like that it had to be rushed, because it was planned, it was set up. So when I asked, were there more than one person involved in this kidnapping, I got a direct answer of no. Obviously, it was only one person that took both boys. Number 16. Why were the Cal City boys left outside in the cold in the backyard? I got a direct answer of they were not outside. This is a story. This is what the adoptive parents told media, told the news, the neighbors, everybody, that he was outside. His direct words was, I was slinging wood. It was cold. he was getting wood, I guess, to put in the fireplace or whatever. And the two boys was outside playing with their sidewalk chalk in the backyard. And then he said, he was bringing the wood in, and he turned around and he just didn't see him anymore. And I thought that was really suspicious, because I'm like, these people have 6 kids. Why would you only allow 2 kids to go out and play briefly? And it's okay, if it's really cold outside, you don't want your kids outside. But I'm thinking, some kids don't mind playing in the cold. If they got on a hat and gloves and a coat and they're bundled up well and they got on tennis shoes and thick socks, or, long johns or their clothes, whatever, they can go outside and play for a little while, especially if you're outside, you're just doing something real quick, let them play around, then we're all going to go back inside and warm up. That's fine. What I did not understand is why only 2 kids was allowed to go out there. And if you notice, it was only the 2 children that they had that were brothers. These were only the 2 adopted kids that they had, that was sent, that they claimed was supposedly outside. Where were the other 4 kids? Okay, so you clearly know that this was to be set up, and this was to be done specifically to those boys, to those adopted kids in which they had. I found that very, very suspicious, but the answer that I got from Spirit was they were not outside. Those boys were not outside in the backyard at all, which means that they were familiar with the person who came and took them. They know the person who came and took them. Like I just explained to you a few minutes ago, because this was planned, because this was set up, it was not rushed. It was not done in a haste. Let me hurry up and grab these kids and take off type of thing. Those boys were not outside. So the parents clearly lied to the media and to the police and to everybody else. Those children were not outside in the backyard like they said, while he was supposedly getting wood to go in the fireplace. I asked number 17, I asked Spirit, who hurt the Cow City boys? Now, I got multiple answers on this. I did get the adoptive mother and the adoptive father that came out, but I believe Spirit was just telling me, because of the simple fact that they went along with what happened to these kids, that was hurting them. But I asked Spirit, who specifically hurt these boys after they were abducted? And I got sex offender. This is the reason why I tell you that this sex offender is not from their area. This sex offender came from somewhere else, resides or lives somewhere else. Because I also got stranger. This person is a sex offender, but he's a stranger. Nobody really knows this individual like that, or from that neighborhood like that, because he's not from there. And then the third answer I got was kidnapper. So these are all the same people: sex offender, stranger, and the last one was kidnapper. Okay. So on number 18, I asked Spirit, how were the missing boys transported? I wanted to specifically know how they were transported, what they were transported in, and I got van. They were transported in a van. Okay. Number 19. The rest of these are going to be direct answers. Were the boys' adoptive parents abusive? This is where I got a direct answer of no. They were not directly abusive to them. However, them going along with what happened to these boys was abusive and neglective in a way. But were they physically directly abusive to them while they were in their care? I got a direct answer of no. Did the adoptive parents hurt them in any way? I got a direct answer of no. So while the boys were in their care, they were not abusive to them, and they didn't hurt them in any kind of way. Number 21. Did the adoptive parents willingly allow the boys to be abducted for money? I got a direct answer of yes. This is what I was explaining to you all earlier. Last but not least, number 22. Were the Cal City boys sexually assaulted after being abducted? I got a clear answer of yes. I asked Spirit, was there any extra messages that wanted to come out? They were being trafficked, so that we know the boys got trafficked. Those boys were, while they were being trafficked, while they were still alive, they kept them drugged. Okay? And last but not least, the extra message that came out, those boys haven't been found because they were taken out of state. Those boys were taken out of state, but they are no longer alive at this point. They have been used for the purposes that they were taken for. They were used, they were abused, they were drugged, they were beat, they were sexually assaulted, and ultimately they were drowned is what killed them. They were drowned. So those are the messages that I picked up from Spirit. This is a very sad story. This is very heartbreaking that this type of thing goes on. But more people need to know that people are sacrificing their children to get the bag, which is slang for money, just because they are sellouts. When you sold out to these satanic powers that be, and these elites come to you and they want a blood sacrifice from you of some kind, and a lot of people hear blood sacrifice and automatically think people are sacrificed for different reasons. A person can be sacrificed to be kidnapped, to be sold into the sex trade, the sex industry. People can be sacrificed by setting them up on a crime. People can be sacrificed by having, some situation happen and having them institutionalized. People can be sacrificed to be a blood sacrifice, to be ultimately be killed. People are sacrificed for their organs, which means that they are killed, but solely for their organs. People are sacrificed in many different ways. And as creepy as this sounds, as heartbreaking as it is, these things go on every single day. So at this time, I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to ask Spirit if there are any further messages, if I need to pull any cards to get any more clarification for you all. This is very heartbreaking, but I hope that this helps someone who needed answers as to what happened to these boys. And like I told you all in the beginning, and I went through that whole spiel in the beginning just to let you know that these cases that you see that grow cold, especially with these children that end up being missing for like ever essentially, and there's no leads and there's no follow-ups, and there's you don't ever find them, and all kinds of things. This is something that has been set up on a higher level. So it doesn't matter what the local officials come out and tell you. It doesn't matter what anybody else say about the case. Ultimately, no real answers will be given to the public. These boys' bodies won't ever be found, just like many other individuals who have vanished and gone missing and never been seen or heard from ever again. And that they set it up, and you hear about it. From the moment that you hear about it, it's this big high profile case that everybody's hearing about, that everybody's knowing about. But you look around, and it's been months and months and years later, and there haven't been any leads, and they haven't found any remains. They haven't found the children's bodies or anything like that. And that's red flag number one, that you know that this was set up on a higher level, and things are being covered up. So like I said, I'm going to pray and meditate for just a minute, and I'm going to see if there are any further messages that I can share with you all. Out of curiosity, guys, I asked Spirit. I wondered who paid the adoptive parents, and I asked Spirit, was it someone in power whom paid the adoptive parents? And I got a clear, direct answer of yes. So, somebody in power, somebody high up in authority, someone that's on an elite type of level, just a very powerful, authoritative figure, paid them, gave them some type of compensation, which enabled them to have some type of financial gain. It is quite interesting that the boys went missing 4 days before Christmas. But they were paid by somebody in power. I just kind of wondered about that. Who exactly paid them? It's just so sad. It's so sad. More often than not, when people's children and things go missing, you get a lot of people who, feel saddened for these people because they're going through such a hardship and such a hard time, like having a child that is missing. But a lot of times these people are sellouts. They sold out to these satanic powers that be, and they go along with this setup to have this crap done. And this mess happens all the time. These are not random occurrences, random events. These things happen all the time, and it's sad because so much of the public are just kind of dumbed down to the fact that these things are going on in the world in which we live in. But it's very sad. So right now, I'm just asking Spirit, are there any other messages that I need to share with you all about this case? So you all give me just a minute to do that. This video is already almost an hour long. But I just wanted to give you all some clarification as to what happened with these boys. There's been quite a few people, various different areas, different parts of the world that has been concerned about this, worried about this. It's crazy for one person to come up missing, let alone you have 2 children come up missing at the same time. So, nevertheless, give me a few more minutes to pray and meditate, and I'm going to see what cards come up that I can share with you all to go along with this reading. Okay, you all, I have prayed, I've meditated, I've asked Spirit for what other messages you all needed to know pertaining to the situation about the Cal City boys, Orin and Orson. And this is what I have. The first card is the Hermit, the Death card, the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Wands, to that 88, and the Strength card. These clarify. These are some other messages, but I really kind of pulled them to clarify this stuff because I kind of just wanted to do a 5-card draw. So what we have here with the Hermit, this is somebody who is in contemplation. They're thinking, they've gone within, they're reserved, they're hiding themselves away from everybody else or away from the world. They've confined themselves inside or something like that, which is very interesting because I've seen something here recently that that was talking about the adoptive father. He like boarded up the windows to the house and everything with which where they're living. And if you look at the interview of the two adoptive parents that was standing there talking to the media, he's got his arms folded, you know, just like the hermit here, this guy here on the hermit card. Like he's holding himself almost in a protective stance, like trying to protect himself or hold on to himself. It's something that people do to try to comfort themselves in a way, but he has gone within. He's contemplating something, he's thinking about something. The situation, what has happened, what has gone on is playing over and over again in his head, and he's just kind of buried himself inside away from everybody. And he's constantly thinking about this situation and what took place, what's going to happen, and he's contemplating on what's going on. And basically what it seems like that he's contemplating is on this here. This is a death card. The death card can talk about actual physical death, but it also talks about transformation. It talks about a death of the old, a rebirth of the new. In this situation, this hermit here, he could have he's gone within and he's thinking about this situation because he knows those boys are dead. He knows those boys are dead, and he's thinking about it. It's like it's bothering him. It's constantly on his mind. He's constantly thinking about what has happened to cause this death in the family. This death of the West boys, or Orin and or Orson. The next card we have here is the Eight of Swords. Now, this is air energy, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini energy here with the swords. The Eight of Swords talks about being confined, being restricted, being bound, unable to move, being tied. And this being next to this death card, and him being in contemplation about this. Maybe they do know exactly what happened to those boys once they were taken away from there, because this death card is here because someone was bound, someone is tied to a situation, somebody is being restricted. This is like feeling imprisoned. Feeling like you can't move because you're bound, because you're tied, possibly gagged. You're just unable to move, unable to get out of a situation. However, I have the Eight of Wands here. The Eight of Wands, this is fire energy, which is the wands. So this would be the energy of Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. Okay, the Eight of Wands talks about travel, is fast communication. This can talk about actual travel, movement, traveling, leaving, but it can also speak to the travel of messages, news, information, fast-paced messages, or some kind of news or information coming to you in a fast manner. And it obviously is pertaining to the situation at hand here, because I have, like, in just the first 5 cards, I have 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards. All together, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 major arcana out of all the cards that I pulled, and I only pulled 10 cards. So this is a very hectic, chaotic situation, because major arcanas, almost cards, are some of the most prominent of the deck, and you know, there's something massive happening and going on when you get a lot of major arcana cards that comes out. Here I have the Strength card. The Strength talks about being strong, having strength. It talks about stability, security. It talks about just being stable within a situation, trying to be strong within a situation. And I mean, with all this other stuff going on with the death of a situation, which would be centered around these boys with the knowledge of the fact that they have been bound, they have been restricted with this fast-paced these fast-paced messages, this information coming in, or just the knowledge of this, having to be strong, or put on a strong front in front of others about this situation. I clarified this Hermit card and I got the Tower. The Tower card talks about destructions. It talks about major upheavals, tragedy, striking, a sudden shaking of events, a crumbling away of a situation, something very traumatic and damning happened. And of course, since we know that that Orin and Orson was abducted, what was taken. If you look at these three cards here, he has retreated himself. He has gone within. He is thinking about this tower that has collapsed. This tower was the cause of this death here. Can you all see that? Maybe I need to put it up closer. He has gone within. Okay, this Tower card, clearly this is what he is thinking about. This is what he has retreated from everyone else from, why he has hidden himself, why he's trying to protect himself, why he's going in, because he's thinking about this sudden upheaval that came, this sudden tragedy, this sudden change of events. It was due to this death card here, this depth of the old. Okay, and he is really, this person is really in deep thought about that situation, unable to move forward, unable to let it go. To clarify the death card, I got the King of Swords. This person, this is fire energy as well. It's the wands. This is like, this is the head of that deck. This is the King of Wands. So it's like the father of the wands, or the fire energy. He would be Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo energy. It talks about practicality, being practical about a situation, trying to stay practical about a matter. And since it clarified this death card, this could be another person, but it also could be this Hermit. This could be another person who is involved, who caused this death of a situation to happen, because he is looking, if you all can see this, he is facing directly towards this Tower card. If you can see the Hermit, he has gone within. He is reserved. He is like he's like looking away, trying to forget, trying not to think about this death of a situation, this tragic event that happened, that came, but he can't stop thinking about it. So he has bottled himself in. He has sheltered himself in. And this person here, this King of Wands here, this Sagittarius, this Leo, this Aries, this King of Wands here, this father figure. He's probably an authority figure. He's someone in power. He's someone in authority. He's looking directly at this tower. This tower collapsed. This tower came down. This sudden change of events, this destruction happened specifically because this King of Wands caused this death, this tower to collapse, which caused this death here. Okay. To clarify, the Eight of Swords is the angel of the ocean is what this is called. And the angel of the ocean, it talks about all about healing. It talks about finding some type of balance. It can talk about patience, having some type of compassion, reconciliation of some kind. Angels even. It has many different meanings. What stands out to me about it, you see the figure 8 symbol here, which stands for infinity. She has a cup in each hand. I feel like that this is the energy that is coming through for those babies, Orin and Orson, here. And this energy here is what clarified, because this is like, I'm feeling like this card, as you can see, this person has wings. This is the 8 here. It's just the infinity symbol. Can y'all see that? You see how it's making the infinity symbol with the 8? And she's got a cup in each hand. Each one of them cups would stand for each one of those boys. And this is like their angel that is coming through and speaking to me. And remember when I showed you all the other 8s? Remember when I said 88? Because we got the 8 of swords and the 8 of wands. Because of the fact that those boys were abducted, those boys were killed. Where you see another 8 at? 8 here. So now you got 8, 8, 8. This is like their angel, because this angel of the ocean, this is like an angel coming through and giving you clarification of what has happened to them. These boys are no longer with us, but they're in the presence of their guardian angels here. And so for those who did love these children, who did care about them, this is a time for healing. This would be a time for healing for them from this loss. The 8 of wands, with this travel, with this news, with this information, with these messages here, I have the queen of the ocean. This is the mother card of the tarot. This would be the empress in the traditional tarot deck. It talks about all about abundance, fertility, pregnancies, different things like that. It's a mature maternity figure, a motherly figure. This is a reason why this is like the mother card of the deck. She's the queen of the ocean in this tarot deck. And whomever this person is, this could be the adoptive mother. However, I feel like this may be somebody else, because this person here, this motherly figure, was clarified with this 8 of wands, under this 8 of wands here. So like I said, this could, if this is the adoptive mother, maybe she's thinking about traveling, maybe she's thinking about leaving, moving from this situation. But it also can clarify that this may be somebody else of that's a mother figure that is getting some type of fast pace, have gotten some type of information that has come in, or some type of messages that have come in fast paced to her, because she is looking directly at this last card here, which clarified the strength card here. This mother here, she's trying to hold on. She's trying to hold on to some type of stability, some type of security. She's trying to have strength and be strong. But these messages have come through in a fast-paced manner to her with the Wheel of Fortune here. This talks about destiny. This talks about a completion. Something has gone full course. Something has like a completion of a cycle. Almost, and she's looking towards this Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this can also be about finances, money, that getting messages or fast-paced news, messages, information coming in about this situation. But she's looking towards this Wheel of Fortune. Okay, something has gone full circle. And she's trying to have stability throughout this situation. She's thinking about leaving, traveling, or something, and it may be with this large sum of money that will come into them from this situation. So you all, in the the overall energy, the card that was at the bottom of the deck is the Nine of Swords. Okay, which this talks about anxiety, fears, nightmares, heartache, pain, death. The Nine of Swords talks about many different things, but we clearly see with the Eight of Swords here, and talking about being restricted, being bound, like being held hostage, and things here, a separation. The Eight of Swords talk about a separation and burdens. But the Nine of Swords, okay, it's like having a panic attack, okay? It talks about fear. It talks about guilt. Somebody's having insomnia. Somebody's having nightmares about this situation. There's some type of stress or a mental overload as it relates to this situation. So this is clearly what the parents are feeling around this situation. And obviously they're really going through because of what happened, but they clearly know. They clearly know what has gone on, what the situation is, what they went along with, and what the outcome of that situation is. So I do hope that these messages has helped someone for the needed closure or the needed clarification that you all needed relating to these Cal City boys. I hate calling them that. Orin and Orson West are the two boys who seemingly vanished, went missing, never to be seen or heard from again. These messages were for them. Hopefully this is some type of help or assistance. Some type of help or assistance for you all. And as I always say, I was just looking at these cards again. I'm looking at this because his back is turned to her. Her back is turned to him. He's looking towards this Tower card here, this destruction, this end, this sudden end that came, and she's looking towards this Wheel of Fortune. She's looking towards, you know, a completion, destiny, finances, money, resources, fulfillment of some kind. And then you have these babies smack dead here in the middle, and you know, the tragedy that happened to them. It's awful, but I hope this helps somebody. As I always say, I wish you all peace, love, and light. Until the next time, namaste.